Hi guys, it's Ray with Ray's Turquoise Turtle. Today I am going to do a basic wood grain on this 25-ounce barrel tumbler to do a whiskey barrel. So I got my gloves on because I'm working with alcohol inks and I don't want to get, yucky. I have prepped and painted this white. I have Holtz sepia, teakwood, and espresso that I'm going to use a combination of. I'm just going to use a regular old chippy brush to start, and then I have a smaller detail brush that I can use in a bit. So I'm going to uncap these. I'm going to uncap all of them. You don't have to worry about leaving them open while you work. The way the Tim Holtz bottles are designed, it draws a bead and seals the top. So my method is, I'm going to move this out of the way for now. I draw a line and start brushing. Draw another line on that line and start brushing. And this is the espresso. It's not the darkest one. The teakwood will be the darkest. And I'm going to leave some white space for now. Because I am going to go around again with the other color. So I am just going to do this start to finish. This is my first barrel-shaped tumbler I'm working with, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm not sure how the measuring and the decals will go. When you're working with inks, you do want to protect your surface. I can already see where I'm splattering a little bit on my table back here. And this table I don't have covered in contact paper like some of my tables. So I do want to try and be mindful of that. The espresso does sometimes take on a little bit of a green, especially under the epoxy. It typically brings itself back, but so I don't worry about using it. I don't seal my alcohol inks prior to epoxy. I just make sure they're good and dry. Some people say 24 hours, but I don't even always wait that. If I'm ready to go, I just go. I don't want quite that much whites. Ew. With inks, when you put ink on the ink, it reactivates the ink that's already there. So do be mindful of that. Because you can see where at first it had that little white spot. You do want to be aware of that. And you do have to work quick. They do dry fast. So you constantly want to be moving. I don't want that much white space. That's why I went back and hit that spot. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a little bit of the sepia and see how I feel about that color on this. Nice. I think I like that for this application. So I'm going to go back over the whole thing. I'm going to try and move a little quicker just because I don't want it completely reactivating the espresso. To me, the chippy brush really works best for the Woodgrain ink. Other people like a foam brush. I just don't care for the look of the foam brush. I think because of the way the chippy brushes are, you get more of the green look. I gotta get that drip. I'm just going to, I'm normally not this clumsy, it's just because my finger isn't cooperating fully yet. I have limited movement in that top knuckle, so picking things up and putting things down, especially moving fast, is not great yet. I'm going to be trying to get a bunch of Tumbler videos done in the next week because I'm trying to get retail stocked up. I've been down for a month, so I'm really needing to get some inventory going. I will probably be doing some other stuff in between. So you might get some duplicate type projects, but I'm trying to get some different ready-made tumblers done. And if you know me, that's sometimes a struggle for me. See, like I have that one spot where I let too much sit and reactivate, so I'm going to have to go back in and get that at some point. I don't mind when it does it on a line, but I don't like when it does it on a bubble. Now, I haven't touched the bottom yet, so I'm going to hit that quick. This is hard to do while recording because it just is, and the bottoms are more difficult anyways, just because it does want to pool more at the bottom typically. So, plus you have to be careful when you do the bottom so you don't go wrap over the side too much. So I will hit the bottom a couple times probably, just as I go along. But at least it's started. So I'm going to go ahead and bring some of the teakwood on top. Again, this will be the darkest color I bring in. And with this, I am going to try and make sure there are no white spots left once I'm done with this pass. Because when you think about a whiskey barrel, you think old and aged and a little bit rough. So it's going to have a variety of color pulled through it and a lot of character and depth. That's why I'm not doing just a one color wood grain for this, because I do want it to have that character and dimension. You can see where that spread way more than I intended and reactivated way more than I would have liked. And I don't always go up and down. Sometimes I sweep side to side a little bit. Especially in this shaped tumbler, it's different to work with. And sometimes I'll turn the brush the skinny way. Working with alcohol inks in any capacity is always my favorite medium. I will take an ink tumbler over a glitter tumbler any day of the week. They've always been my favorite to work with and probably always will be. I don't want to get too dark because it is just going to get a black vinyl decal, so I do need the decal to show up. So do keep your decal color in mind when you're selecting your color for your wood grain. White decals actually look really nice on a wood grain. I don't have one handy. So at this point, I have everything covered at least once, except for the base. I've got to check again. And see, you can see where it's run over the edge some. It's fine. You just get some more ink on there and activate it. I don't like that spot, so okay. So I have no white. I'm actually pretty happy with how this looks, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to try and drag just a couple of knots into it, and I think I'm going to go with the sepia for a knot. So pick a spot, put a drip in, and take a smaller brush and just kind of start rubbing in circles. And just do like a tiny dot at a time and just keep repeating. And just kind of drag where you want that imperfection. And you can layer in a different color. And you can drag it or make it bigger. I don't like to keep my knots round. I like to give them like some texture and dimension. So that's when I'll pull in multiple colors. And pull the color up and around. And I'll brush back over it on that area with my bigger brush. You can put a knot on the bottom if you want. It's going to be hard because I'm at an angle. This isn't the type of brush I normally use for my knots, so it's a little different. But just keep working it until you get the look you want. That was kind of a big drip and there's a lot underneath it, so it kind of activated a lot. That will happen. Again, brush back over it. But I don't really want to do a lot to this one, because I really did like the initial look of it, so. Yeah, just play with it until you get the texture and dimension you want. Anyways, I am going to just leave this as is because I am pretty pleased with it. So that's it. Pretty easy. Again, I recommend a chippy brush over a foam brush, but do yourself a favor, try it both ways. You might like one versus the other. So, all right, that is it. Thank you for watching. If you learned something, if you liked something, please go ahead and hit that like, thumbs up, and give me a subscribe. I am planning on pushing out quite a bit of content over the next couple of weeks, so if you're subscribed, you won't miss anything. All right, thank you.